My hair is wet. I haven't filmed a video in a while and I just thought it'd be nice to sit in front of the Christmas tree while Dad is out walking the dogs and they cannot bark. Hello my lovelies, today I'm going to be talking you through the 2 books I finished in November. Even though I only finished 2 books, they were book 50 and 51 of my Goodreads reading challenge to read 50 books this year, and they were both brilliant 5-star reads. So I'm very content with what I read in November, and I'm also very sorry that this video is late. The first book I finished in November, and my 50th out of 50 books I wanted to read this year, was The Witches of New York by McKay, which is also the November Feeling My Shelf Book Club Book of the Month. I will link the reading vlog for this, as well as the Instagram for Feeling My Shelf Book Club and Adopted by Addams' new YouTube channel, who is the person that runs the book club. I absolutely loved this book. It just had the best vibe to it when I was reading it. It had the most beautiful aesthetics and just a really nice cozy plot to it as well. I also appreciated how much time was spent in the world building of this book, and the book as an object itself is just so beautiful, with these little epitaphs at the beginning of each chapter, and each new day in the plot is signalled by the moon phases dividing the book up. So a new day has a new moon phase, and there's also some really beautiful illustrations in it, and it just made it all come to life and really made this book a truly immersive experience. I was obsessed with it when I was reading it, and it's just the way it made me feel is mostly the reason why I love this book. Before picking this up, I didn't really know what to expect, but when I did pick this up, I realised the cast of characters is so much more diverse than I was expecting for late 1800s New York. You've got a lesbian character, you've got a character who has a disfigurement on their face, you also have a character who's only got one arm. It's just so much more expanded than I was expecting it to be, which was a really pleasant surprise. I know some people are going to dislike this, but as I've said multiple times before, I love world building when it comes to a book, and this has some really beautiful descriptive passages in it, which did mean I think it took about 100 pages for Beatrice to get to the tea shop, which is what the blurb says the book is about. But I loved it because I was addicted to the world that this story had created. If I'm being a critical reader, I should really drop this half a star because I did want to see Adelaide and Brodie's relationship play out more on the pages of the book instead of off screen, as it were. And I did want maybe 1 or 2 more asylum scenes in the book, but I was so addicted to reading this that I just can't bring myself to give it anything other than 5 stars. And I would love to see these characters again, because even though the ending does tie up the story really neatly, it is open enough for there to be a continuation with these characters if McKay chooses to do so, and I would be so very happy to keep reading about them. It's the characters, and I keep saying this, the world building, it's just, I felt as if I was in the tea shop with them at times, and that's what I love. I just wanted to see what these characters are doing in their mundane everyday lives. Even if there wasn't any plot to this book, I would still love it for the way it was written. So The Witches of New York by McKay is a full 5-star read for me. And the second book that I finished in November is Princess in Practice by Connie Glynn, which is the second book in the Rosewood Chronicles. I've actually got mine signed. I have all 3 of them signed in hardback. Between these 2 books, they just made my November reading just so happy, because this book was also one that has a lot more diversity than you would expect from it. Rosewood is a school where all children of powerful people or famous people or royalty attend, so you've got children from all over the world. There's a lot of diversity in itself, but also in this book you have the introduction of a new character who is deaf, and it honestly surprised me that I don't think I've read any books with any deaf characters in it, which is so very wrong that we have not got to the stage where we have normalised putting deaf characters into books. And this book does it well. This book makes it part of the plot without making a scene about it, which normalises having a deaf character in a book, which is what we really need to be doing. And also in this book we have the LGBTQ+ relationship from the first book that was only hinted at in book 1, starting to expand out into something more real in book 2. But Connie Glynn just keeps teasing it at us. She hasn't given us that full-on relationship yet, and I'm loving the slow burn of it. Connie Glynn is an author that just keeps giving, because in the first book now, I'm trying to phrase this without spoiling it because it is a spoiler for the plot in book 1 if I said it outright. So I'm just going to phrase it as a character that plays with gender, and this part, the history of Rosewood, is expanded in book 2, and I really appreciate it. These books just give me the best feeling while reading them. I love the characters, and I especially appreciate the way that their relationships has developed through book 2. Like I said, the slow burn relationship in this is killing me, but I also really loving it at the same time. I appreciate that the relationship is not a straightforward one, and also not a straight one, which just makes it so much more realistic to me. There's something about these books and the way that Connie Glynn is so good at capturing magical realism. It just feels like home to me. The writing style just feels so familiar, and so does the ideas that Connie is putting in, because I've seen her on YouTube for many years before I started reading these books. So something about it just feels right. And I've given this book, like the first book, 5 stars. So I am very, very happy with the 2 books that I got finished in November, and I've also hit my Goodreads goal for the first time ever. For about 4 years I've been setting this goal of 50 books, and I think I did 15 one year, 17 the next year, 35 the year after, and I finally got to 50, and I'm on about 52 at this point. My December reading is hit and miss, but that's what you expect when return home and have to start going to work and trying to juggle essay stuff and trying to fit in reading for next term's module. So very hit and miss, but November reading was just some of the best time I've had reading. So thank you for watching, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.